if they can the cops get a court order to force Dato Sri to give his DNA, and if they do something like that, what exactly are your options at that point?
Our understanding of the law is that that is not permissible under Malaysian law, and Syed Hamid, who is also a lawyer, appears to say the same thing. We agree with that part of what he says. Under our laws, we cannot force a person to give a blood sample. And if an application is made to court, given the current circumstances, we will resist it for the concerns that we have already expressed. And as you said, until we are absolutely certain that whatever medical examinations of the complainant, whatever samples were taken from him, whatever tests were run, were all done independently, professionally, without any interference by the police, then yes, I think then the question will then arise.
Will you have an opportunity, basically, when they make this kind of an application, give you a chance to be heard in court, or without being present?
Yeah, but the court should be giving a response, especially in this case, which is in such public view. But all sorts of things are possible in Malaysian court, so I'm not going to hazard any guesses. We'll wait and see.
Mr. Siva, could you explain in the court, sorry if I'm asking a wrong question,
No,
because they already have the Dato' Anwar's DNA 10 years ago.
Yes.
Can't they use it again? The DNA is the same, right? Why do they need a fresh DNA? Could you sort of explain that?
Well, our understanding is they have the DNA, and that is why Dr. Sri has a real concern about fabrication of DNA evidence, which he saw unfold in his first trial. So his concern is that this complainant has been in police custody since the 20th of June until now. They say protective custody, but whatever it is, the fact is he is in their custody. They also have this DNA. So anything is possible.
Is the extraction of DNA from Dato' Sri a requirement of the Malaysian law in this kind of case?
No, this is another point which we have made, which I'll explain again. DNA evidence is basically corroborative evidence. It is not the primary evidence that you jump to immediately. So the question we would ask the police is, you have to reach the point where you say that it's a credible complaint. Not just the mere word of the complainant, but a credible complaint. In other words, whatever he is saying is corroborated by other witnesses, and from what we know, we are not even convinced that is happening.
So DNA is not pivotal.
It's not pivotal, it's corroborative of the picture. Our problem now is, there are all sorts of scenarios for fabrication of that DNA evidence. So that's the situation. It can be shown otherwise.
Under what circumstance would Dato' Sri agree to have his DNA sample taken? As in, because you say that it will be fabricated, it will send over to police. What kind of safeguards would you like for the extraction of DNA?
What we have said here is, until it is independently verified that all medical examinations of Saiful, samples taken from him, tests run with those samples, etc., were conducted professionally, objectively, without interference from the police, I think then is where you may have a situation where then a valid question for DNA would arise. But until then, no.
Is this a possible scenario? Would they be able to?
We can't, there's no perspective until we see it.
Basically asking for the medical examinations done outside.
No, we're not asking for anything. We're saying until we're convinced. Because the scenarios that we are seeing, because we have scenarios of fabrication of evidence from DNA, and not just in relation to DNA. You know about Dr. Sri's report, alleging, for example, that even the forensic report relating to his assault, the investigation of the assault had elements of fabrication. And that's an investigation we are seriously pursuing with the AC even as right now. Dr. Sri will be going on Monday to carry on with this evidence, which we stopped giving on Tuesday morning at 11:45 in order to be on time for the statement at IPK. We cut short that interview to make sure we would be at IPK by 2. So that fabrication is there all over the place, and let us also not forget that Dato' Nalakurupan's lawyers at that time, Mr. Manjit Singh, put on record in the form of an SD, in the form of letters to Mokhtar Abdullah at that time, that his client was threatened and made to give false evidence, was threatened with the death penalty. So we're not talking about an isolated incident of fabrication. We've got a pattern. And our concern is, who are the key actors in that pattern? The same names are, I think, at work now.
Siva, is Anwar barred from going abroad now?
Officially, we have nothing from the authorities saying that he cannot travel. But we anticipate, this is some speculation, we anticipate that given the ongoing investigation, that he may not be allowed to travel.
So will we go abroad then? Will we go abroad?
If he has to go abroad, then I think what lawyers will do, myself or anybody else here on his behalf, will communicate with the relevant authorities, i.e. immigration, to find out whether he will be allowed to travel. If they say no, we'll have to probably make a application to them, or if necessary to report to allow him to travel. If it's sufficiently important for him to go. Otherwise, he may just have to forego his travels until all this blows over.
In order to keep him 5 kilometers away from Parliament, is it still in effect or was it from Monday?
I'm afraid I don't have the order, but I've read the order. It's not very clear about that, okay? But when you read the order as a whole, I think it's reasonable to interpret that order as being confined to Monday. Because it specifies the Monday gathering, the so-called gathering, which the whole basis of the order is that there was this massive gathering supposed to happen, which we don't know anything about. We never called for the gathering. They seem to assume, and they've acted, they've roadblocks and so on. So the order refers to the gathering for Monday, 10 o'clock. And it doesn't refer to any other date or time. So it's reasonable to say, well, after Monday, that order is effectively
So you mentioned as well that the NST is sourcing hospital authorities without identifying them, goes against journalist ethics. Apart from that, how would you put those things in context, or what are they trying to do? How do you describe?
No, actually that was a side comment. I mean, we noticed that that's on page 6 here, this paragraph, that again a contradiction to what Dr. Anwar said yesterday, was published without an unnamed source, and we just want to set the record straight. But our main concern this afternoon is statements by such as this that are being made, and these are completely politicizing the investigation. We say, your influence, your tantamounts to interference, and this is not coming from some junior youth leader of UMNO or something. This is coming from the Home Minister, one of the most powerful cabinet ministers in the country. So what is he doing saying this?
Yeah, I just have to repeat the question. I know that that's the main point of the
That is the thrust of what we say.
But apart from that, I mean, the statement by the so-called hospital authorities that he was not stripped naked, that he was not measured.
Yes.
Apart from being against journalism ethics, as you said just now.
Yeah, we say it's a false statement.
It's a false
It's
statement.
a false statement. We'll say for the record, it's a false statement. He was stripped naked, and he was measured.
So any follow-up action on that? Will we be serving a notice on NSP, warning?
Well, no, if we start suing every media organization for every statement, we wouldn't have time for our political work. So, we rather tell you it's false and then get on with the most important work of reforming this country's key institutions, of transforming the political landscape. That is our concern.
Siva, in a sexual assault case,
Yes.
is it normal for police not to show the report to the suspect? Normally?
I don't think it's normal. I think any suspect, and I'm not talking about witness here, I'm talking about the actual suspect now, the person who is alleged to have committed an offense, must be given specifics of the allegation. Otherwise, how do you reply? And that's our position.
Mr. Siva.
And here, sorry, just to complete that, Dr. Anwar has actually received clear-cut legal advice, not just by one lawyer, but more than one senior lawyer. That's the position he ought to take, i.e. not give any statement to the police until he sees his police report. But he has taken the position which he feels, I mean, he wants, because he knows if he doesn't give the statement, then next day the media spin will be, oh, Anwar refused to give the statement, he's not cooperating with the police, he's got something to hide. And that's exactly the opposite of what he wanted. He said, fine, I will deal with all the questions. And he sat there for 5.5 hours.